Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Blind. I am kind of stuck. Something died inside him that day. Watching that man slip away was more than his mind was willing to handle. I'm not really sure where to go. Like, there's something wrong with the machine.
Ah, you again. You're a good boy, Dad. And I appreciate your company. But I believe you have more important things to take care of.
So let's maybe inspect that again. Oh. Oh! Okay.
You should hurry, Daniel. No time for sitting around.
Okay, those gears are not moving.
You're a good boy, Daniel. And I appreciate your company.
And they are now.
But I believe you have more important things to take care of.
I totally didn't see that hatch at first. So now I should be able to push the levers, right? Okay, so I think that's opening the doors that are down below.
Daniel, you have gone too far. I have to stop you. I can't let you proceed any further. I'm sorry, my friend.
Good to see you. You got the doors open? Good going. I knew you could do it.
Okay, so I assume those are the torture rooms. Although this looks more like a well than anything else. Maybe if I... Yeah, it'll like feed the monster and it'll be calmer or something, I assume. Transept.
You again. You should hurry, Daniel.
What about this side? Agrippa channels Weir. Weir taunts me from the other side. I trusted him with my true reason for my efforts, and still he insists on releasing Agrippa. How an enlightened man can show such lack of compassion in a seat of power disgusts me. I can't bring myself to part from Agrippa, as he is and has been for centuries my only link to the worlds beyond. Weyer claims he tries his best to release me from my banishment, but that he needs me to give him Agrippa first so that he can help too. If he could guarantee success, I would happily oblige, but how am I to part from him if my return might be denied? I know what they are capable of. I have seen their deception. Optimism is the most hopeless feeling, but I must retain it. I shall prepare for his release. To release Agrippa without killing him, Weyer told me to feed him a tonic made from a paralyzer, vitae, and tampta. Poisonous fungi should work as a paralyzer if I can find the internal gland from a large specimen. The choir seems to be a fertile ground for this sort. I should be able to extract its contents with proper tools. The vitae should be extracted as usual from any agonized human victim's blood. I just need large amounts to distill it properly. Remember to collect this during the next torture session. Tampta, on the other hand, shall prove more difficult. I don't think it exists in this world. Simply writing the words with these letters looks wrong. I believe it's a property of a secretion in a water-dwelling Karnk. I will have to address Weyer with this, as he will have to supply me with a new host. Also, a properly prepared well should suffice to contain it. Okay, so maybe some traces of that substance will be left on the rope after I fed some meat to the creature. In court, the Order of the Black Eagles spew their politics at each other, while I sit quietly in place, willfully forgotten. Once in a while, someone will notice me and lose themselves in silent cower before regaining their senses. They all know I am the one and the same Alexander who helped their fathers and grandfathers to found this great order. I've seen them take their fathers' places, and they too will grow old and pass away, while I remain the same, aged not by time, but by anguish. So I guess those are Alexander's memories. I don't think that was clear to me beforehand.
What happened to her?
Choir entrance. Okay, let me first check that rope. If there is something left.
Things coming. Incredible. You found Vire's recipe. Then there might still be a chance. Listen carefully. Alexander is working on opening a gate, a door to another world. It's where he wants to go. If you could put your anger aside, let him open the portal before you take your revenge. Let me pass the gate then. Please, find the ingredients and prepare the tonic Vire describes. And do so before you assemble the orb. The barrier keeping you from the inner sanctum will only be breached for a short time. Unless everything is taken care of before mending the orb, you won't be able to save me.
Okay, so far, Agrippa is definitely less contemptible to me than Alexander, and than myself, actually. Picked up remains. This bone is covered in mucus. Yeah, so that should be the secretion of the creature. Let's go in here, transept. Such filth, he thought. Good men can safely cheer their departure, as they are nothing but a burden to mankind. They shall not be missed.
How much more, Baron? How much more am I supposed to withstand? Kill me already! Kill me!
This one. Prepare him.
Okay, they have an illustration of a person being cut in half, which I presume they were maybe doing. Piece of orb. Its texture and color are constantly changing. There are 6 pieces, I think. The rapist hanged upside down, his tears soiled with blood flooding from his belly. The saw between his legs had lodged itself in the hip and wouldn't move any further. The man stepped back and waited for the victim to drain. Like, to be honest, first of all, it's highly suspicious to me whether any of those men were actually criminals, but even if they were, that wouldn't change anything for me. Like, I would still find their torture to be unacceptable. I happen to object vehemently to the idea of torture. I think, a state of law, a country that tries to adhere to some fundamental rules of how society should be run should never and could never condone such practices, even against the worst criminals, because by doing that you basically lower yourself, and you lower, if you're an actual administration, you lower everything your country stands for to the standard of those criminals, but by engaging in such barbarity. So even if they were guilty of some horrible crimes, which, as I said, the kidnapper sat on her knees with her hands tied behind her back. She felt her hands being lifted and her body followed. Her shoulders gave way to the weight of her own body and cracked loudly. The suspended woman cried hysterically as the man contemplated their next step. Even if they were guilty of something horrible, I still think it's wrong to torture them. What? I hope I'm not torturing somebody right now. It very much feels like I might be. What? No! Okay, I do feel kind of horrible. I thought that was a crank for this, which there's no one here. But on the other hand, I feel like I might have to turn this.
Shadow. It's close now. Let me go, you brute!
The cradle is ready.
Good.
You're a man. How can you partake in this?
Is he all right?
He is one of the wicked. Don't pay his lies any attention.
I'm not a bad man. It was an accident.
He set a man on fire.
It wasn't my fault. Why won't anyone listen?
That's horrible.
Of course. We are dealing with monsters here.
Yeah, we are dealing with monsters here, but that's mostly Alexander and Daniel himself.
No, please. I'll do anything. Whatever you want. Anything. I'll do anything. I'm innocent.
That's, I think that's called Judas's Cradle. You sit a man on this, and it sort of impales him. The arsonist kept crying as he was slowly lowered on and off the impaler. It didn't take much to break him. They had meant for him to die, but the torture was working beyond their expectations. It wasn't the method, it was the arsonist. He was different from the others. They could make him forget again. What? I don't understand what that means. Once again, I wonder if that's Alexander. He has an A on his coat? Notes on torture. There are quite a few things to be said about torture. I had figured that the reaction I would get from the victims would be highly individual. Thankfully, this is not the case. The humans all have a very similar approach to dealing with physical pain and the terror of anticipation. I can't stress enough the importance of restraining the victims before proceeding. Even the most timid creature can break out in fits of violence where their strength exceeds their expected prowess. If proper care had been put into breaking the victim, this should not be a problem, but it will also hinder the effect I am after. The right steps to take are, therefore, to restrain while the victim is still dazed, proceed by presenting the form of torture you are about to apply, and then continue with the actual act. The point of presentation is to infuse terror. The human mind is extremely efficient, as it will trigger itself into greater fear simply by imagining it. While applying pain, make sure to avoid massive damage, as it will prove more efficient if the process can be sustained. Also, apply pain in doses, if possible with breaks to let the body settle. If you're whipping or cutting the victim, strike once, wait for the pain to subdue and then strike again. As long as the body suffers, it will continue to produce the vitae and saturate the body with its properties. Only with careful performance will the victim yield maximum effect. If the victim doesn't behave as expected, it is likely that all will be for naught. Before this happens, feed them the amnesia drink and try again later. Is it you, my love, I miss the most, or is it perhaps myself? I know what I have become. I am not blind. I am a monster to them, a demonic sultan perched on a dark mountaintop. There is little I can do to redeem myself. The Black Eagle fears me, and after Napoleon's defeat, it is only a matter of time before they will demand my head on a platter. I must remove myself from this land. This time it must work. If I can't return home, I shall perish. Wait a second. Return home. What would that be? Okay, so I guess the other torture chambers must be on the other side? Let's go in the choir section. Okay, so it's a what? 7-pointed star? Now, actually, I think a star is one of the fear had begun to drown him again. He reached once more for the empty bottle of laudanum. In frustration, he smashed it against the bedpost. I think a star is one of the symbols of Mithraism.
There's something else. You seem to have found all the orb pieces used in the transfer. Go to the choir and find the rest.
Okay, so he does actually tell me. That's good. But Mithraism is actually a real ancient religion. It used to be practiced at the time of the Romans. Actually, it existed, I think, concurrential. What's the word for that? Concurrentially. Concurrently is the word I was looking for. It used to exist, I think, concurrently with Christianity for a while. I don't know much about Mithraism. I know that they used to sacrifice bulls. There was something specific about bulls that made them a worthy sacrifice for the Mithraic. They had this ceremony that was called Tauroctony or something, where they sacrificed a bull. But also, I'm pretty sure a star was like one of their symbols, and maybe they even worshipped, they worshipped the sun. So I guess it would be the sun specifically that was their symbol. But it was often in a stylized form of a symbol of a star. The thick liquid spread across his tongue. He swallowed it excessively to consume every drop. This actually repeats.
August 1839. The blood wards are failing. The shadow beckons, and its cry disarms my actions. Hurry. No time to spare. You have to kill another. Alexander produces a knife. He wants me to cut the flesh. Do it. Save yourself. He is a murderer, Daniel. He is evil. A cold-blooded killer. Hurry.
Well, to be honest, I'm a cold-blooded killer when I kill him. And again, it doesn't really matter to me whether they are criminals. But it's made worse by the fact that I don't think they are. Okay, I don't think I have a choice, especially since this is the past. That's an interesting looking dagger, though.
Alexander, you must let me be. I have to concentrate. Take the man, cut the lines, cut the flesh, watch the blood spill, let it come.
Yeah, I don't really have a choice, because this is all a memory, right? This has all already happened.
Please, I didn't do anything. Paint the man, cut the lines. Paint the man, cut the lines. Please, the man cries. Now you see. I did well. One life for another. You hear me, guardian of the orb? I did all this for you. Now, once more, withdraw your shadow from my domain. Alexander, there isn't much time. I can feel it. We must act swiftly. I will do whatever it takes.
After the man had secured the prisoner, the ritual began. Oh. Was he always here? Whoa, 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 whoa. Did I not notice any of them, or did they appear? No, they must have appeared afterwards. Okay, this repeats as well.
What are my intentions, Daniel? Salvation. It used to be yours, but now you only seek misplaced revenge. How do you justify your violence? Is it for the greater good? Are you doing the world a service? It is you who caused all this pain and death. If you had accepted your fate and submitted to the orb when you first discovered it, none of this would have happened. It is curiosity in league with your selfishness that is killing us both.
That is partially true, but not exactly, because I'm pretty sure Alexander was already killing people by the score for centuries before Daniel even arrived. I have no idea where I'm going. Okay, poison gland for the paralyzer. Oh, that's a brass bull. The traitor did not know what to think of the brass bull as he was forced to enter it. Only when the heat of fire began to scorch his skin and cook his flesh did he realize it was to be his tomb. His screams of pain echoed inside the brass chamber and traveled through the complex instrument which was in the bull's head. Outside, the man could hear the brazen bull bellow. Yeah, but there should be a piece of the orb around here. That was supposed to be the deal, right? Okay, so if I follow the pipes, I should find the other torture chambers as well? Because obviously they are sort of funneling the screams of the people they killed to frighten the others. I'm dead. Oh, no. Okay, I didn't really want to do that. But I guess maybe it's for the best that I did before, because now I don't think like the monster's position probably will have probably will have reset upon me entering this room.
wheel is good for keeping your victims still during the procedure. They can be bound around the circumference or simply stretched across, tying limbs to the spokes and rim. All tools are by this point useful, and you may administer the torture in any way you like. But the forte of the wheel is the gaps. When you have decided that the victim shall die, you can smash their limbs with a hammer, making them fold in between the frame.
But they'll die. Too quickly, I mean.
No, don't worry. The human body is much more resilient. They can survive for days until they finally succumb.
Okay, so they have the wheel here for breaking people over it. The murderer's limbs were tied to the spokes of the wheel. Then they turned the wheel slowly but with intent so that the rope secured around his leg stretched and cracked the bone. He no longer had the strength to scream. The two men looked at each other knowingly and took a hammer and struck the victim's chest in a final act of mercy. Okay, I didn't really run far, but I should have 5 pieces of the orb now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Indeed. Oh, and that's an Iron Maiden. Which actually supposedly never existed. Like, Iron Maidens are, from what I know, they are actually an invention. Like, they're... What I mean is they never existed as an actual torture tool. They were invented as sort of a... almost like a museum attraction. You know, at some point in history, people were so fascinated by all of those horrible things people used to do to each other that they thought like it wasn't enough, it wasn't gruesome enough, so they like designed their own implement of torture and sort of tried to retroactively fit it into history. Okay, so I have all of the pieces. No story about this one? Don't tell me the game expects me to go in there, like, that would be fatal. That's kind of the point. Oh, okay, I guess it wasn't fatal in my kind. I mean, in my... But it has shut itself? Which I admit is quite an effective jump scare. Like, that was stupid to begin with, to get in there. But, so in a way, I appreciate the game punishing me for it. The forger stood absolutely still. The casket had been closed, but a faint light made its way inside. A myriad of spikes pointed at him, glittering as they waited for his body to slip. Just for a moment, his knee jerked and he felt blood trickle down his leg. In pain, his head fell slightly forward. It took him a while to realize his eye had ruptured and begun to leak. What? How can it take you a while to realize you've poked out your own eye? Like, you'd think that would be something you would notice quite quickly. Not only just because of the pain, but also because half your vision would be gone. Okay, so I'm done, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So now I just have to find the way out, which I think is behind the bridge.
I know I have no right to ask anything of you, but if you could find it in your heart to gather the ingredients for Vaya's tonic before attempting to mend the ore, there might still be a chance for you to save me. Please, my fate is in your hands.
I think I do have the ingredients. There's the poison gland. There's the mucus from the thingamajig. And what was the third thing? Oh, vitae. So that's basically blood of someone who has been tortured previously, which should be easy enough.
All the ore pieces you need. I know I have no right to ask anything of you, but if you could find it in your heart to gather the ingredients for Vaya's tonic before attempting to mend the ore, there might still be a chance for you to save me. Please, my faith is in your heart.
There have been bodies. There have been bodies in the choir antechamber, right?
I see that all the ore pieces you need.
Shut up! You said that like 3 times in a span of a minute. That's kind of annoying. There used to be corpses in here, but there are no longer. Oh, wait, what's going on? Like, am I losing my mind? Or do they only appear after I step into this chamber? And how would I... The note has to be made with care, cannot be combined by hand. So where do I go with it? I didn't see like a laboratory anywhere?
I see that all the ore pieces you need. I know I have no...
Oh. Hazel spent all summer in bed. He used to read to her after helping father with his work. In his mind, he was like Scheherazade. And something. Okay, he was captured instead of killed. But apparently they left all of my items?
You had me worried. Quite frankly, I'm not sure what to do with you. I hold no grudge against you, Daniel. We are so very much the same, you and I. Did you really drink from the amnesia mixture? It does explain so much of your behavior. You never did finish what you set out to do. You talked about redemption. how you would face the orb's shadow and save our work, and me. I will grant you another chance to redeem yourself. You can wait here and stop the shadow. Thank you, friend.
To be honest, if I believed that's an actual plausible ending for the game, which I don't think it is, I would maybe go for it. Like, Daniel is trash. He's a trash human being. And so is Alexander. Although, there's some... Like, I'm not sure whether Alexander is human, because it very much seemed to be he had been killing those people and torturing them for centuries. Obviously he has been living for centuries as well, so it seems to me he's some kind of a vampire or whatever. But regardless of his actual species, he's certainly trash as well, from a moral in the moral department. So to be honest, I don't have that big of a problem with Daniel dying. The door is locked. Find another way out. They are both trash, and I don't think they can be redeemed. Maybe I can wait for the shadow? Okay, I have a bucket. Bucket of water. What has just happened, and why whatever it was that killed this guy didn't kill me? Okay, that's definitely weird. Last prisoner note. There is little left to say. I write solely to prevent myself from revisiting the memories of these last few days. If I am fortunate, I will fall asleep and time will pass without effort. I have begun to wean myself of my prison. When I first arrived, I felt like I was being buried inside a tomb, but now I feel the close walls comforting me. As long as I am in here, there is no pain, and the walls protect me from the outside. I even laughed earlier as one of my wardens dropped a key down the pipes. It gave me hope for a second, thinking I could escape, if only I could somehow reach it from here. In my dreams, Alexander, I am king. In my dreams I best you and escape from your clutches, and return with all the knights of the realm, carrying pistols and sabers. In my dreams. Okay, let's carry on. And find the key to open the door leading out of the area. Like he said, he saw the warden drop it like into the pipes or whatever. A key down the pipes. Down the pipes. There is a key in the pipe, but it can't be reached. How about with this? Did I get it? It's stuck in its position. Okay, so it threw it out. Hazel turned 15, she had lived 3 years longer than Dr. Tate had foreseen. Her parents had given up from exhaustion and decided to have her committed for permanent treatment at Canterbury Hospice, but she was still alive. She had embraced him and wished him a grand adventure in Algeria. Alexander became silent. He didn't know what to say. He could no longer recognize his friend sitting across the carriage.
18th of August, 1839. Tonight, we will unlock the power of the orb and ultimately banish the shadow hunting me. I feel it closing in on me, and I fear for my life more than ever. Just outside Olstadt lies a small settlement where Zimmerman, a dairy farmer, lives with his wife and 3 children. We took the coach, went there. Our visit was unexpected, and Alexander was able to strike Zimmerman down without alerting the others. As he went to take care of the farmhands, I began to look for the children. We should have more than enough prisoners to finish the ritual now.
The crying had stopped and he could hear a whisper coming from the cell. They were up to something and he would have to punish them. Okay, I didn't really need any more reminders of how trash Alexander and Daniel are. So like, that doesn't really do anything for me to know that they've killed you know, actually I did know they killed children even beforehand, because there was a child in one of the cells. Okay, I don't think this does anything at present, but this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to pause it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!